Hello everyone, this is SoshJam, and today I wanted to show you a new trading hall design I came up with. Like my last design, it is a 1 block wide modular trading hall that you can expand horizontally as long as you want. However, this one is smaller, it's more resource efficient, and it allows for 2 villagers per module. This is a great trading hall if you want easy access to emeralds, enchanted books, food, and more. But before we begin, I just wanted to thank you all for the massive support on the last video. It did really well, and it was an amazing experience to see how much support you guys were giving me. So thank you for that, and I hope I can meet your expectations for this video. So as you can see on the surface, it looks a lot like the previous design. We still have every villager separated by trapdoors. However, functionally it works a lot different. For example, if you want to zombify a villager, you would push this lever, and that drops them down 2 blocks to where they are accessed by the zombies. Once they are zombified, you can bring them back up, and they will just chill there, and eventually they will jump back up and you can cure them. As you can see, he has jumped back up, so we can go ahead and cure him, and we'll be back in a little bit to check up on him. In the meantime, as you can see, it works a lot like a normal trading hall. I've already cured this villager, so he has very low prices. We can just put in books and emeralds and get back as many enchanted books as we want. As I said before, this trading hall has 2 sides, so you can fit twice as many villagers into a small area, and each side works exactly the same. This trading hall also has a very accessible maintenance hatch. As you can see, the zombie is trying to escape, and we can look in and see an easy way to get to him. This also features the water system from the last trading hall, so we can hit either of these note blocks and dispense water to push him over to where we want him to go. And then if we hit the note block again, the water will disappear, and it will continue as normal. Something that's nice about this trading hall is because the trapdoors separate the villagers from each other. You can freely kill anyone that you want, and the others will not have their trades impacted. Unfortunately, due to the nature of this design, I had to sacrifice the automatic villager insertion system. However, you can still get villagers in by luring them with workstations or simply pushing them in. Once he is in the system, he will immediately pick up this workstation, and then you can close the fence gate to stop other villagers from coming in and to stop him from jumping. As you can see, this villager has now been cured, and he is willing to trade with us for very cheap. Now I'm going to explain how this design works. As you can see, we have a cross section of the design here. I have placed barriers so that the villagers and the zombie do not escape. As you can see, if we want to drop a villager down, we simply hit this lever, and he will go down, he will get killed, and we can bring him back up. Eventually, the villager will jump back on the trapdoor. It does not happen in a single isolated module like this because there aren't very many blocks to pathfind to, but as you can see in a design like this, they will usually quite quickly just jump right back up. And even if they do not jump back up immediately, as you can see, even while they are on that block, the zombie cannot hurt them, and they are totally fine. From a technical standpoint, this design is a lot less complicated than the previous version. As you can see, the only real contraption we have is the one that moves the villager upward. And that works simply like that. And then we have this trapdoor here to ensure the villagers do not run down into that area. And then we have this one up here, which is in charge of getting the villagers into the system. If you want a villager to get somewhere, you can simply open the fence gate, and once the villager is in the system, you can close the fence gate to stop any villagers from getting in. This is a lot better than the previous design, because even though this design is 1 block wider, you are able to fit 2 villagers into the same area instead of just 1. And as you can see, this old design requires a lot more resources. This old design also has a glaring flaw, in which case the zombie does not always attack the villager immediately. We got lucky that time, but a lot of the time the zombie will just stay jumping there constantly and not be able to hit the villager at all. Also, the Nether update has fixed double carpets, so they no longer completely block pathfinding, and so now it is unnecessary. To build these things, you do not need very many resources. For a single module, all you need is some building blocks. And then for the module, you'll need a few trapdoors, a couple of slabs, a fence gate, a workstation, a note block, an observer, a sticky piston, a lever, and then if you want to, you can put it on a sign to allow you to see what trades the villager has. And then to add the maintenance doors and flush systems on the side, you will need some more note blocks, observers, and some dispensers, along with water buckets and doors. To build a single twin module, you need much of the same things. You need double of everything here, except you need one fewer trapdoor because that trapdoor goes in the middle. And then you don't need any extra dispensers, water buckets, or doors. Same goes for 10 single modules and 10 twin modules. There is also this information booklet here. I will be providing a world download of this world in the description if you want to come check it out, and you can read the book to get more information. Now I'm going to show you how to build this thing. I will be building 5 single modules, but I will explain how to convert it into a twin module system. The first thing you want to do is prepare a large area, around 5 by 7 blocks, depending on how big you want to build it. And then you want to be 4 blocks deep from your floor. So if I were to build this as my floor, I would come down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. I'm going to be in survival in this tutorial to make it easier to follow along. So step 1 is to place the sticky pistons that move the blocks. You want to start at your center block and come out 2 blocks, and then place your sticky piston on the 3rd block. And repeat this for your other pistons. Next you want to take solid blocks and place them 1, 2 up, move out the bottom one, and then place them above the other pistons. These are the blocks that your villagers will be standing on. Next you want to take your note blocks and place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along those blocks. Then your observers and place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so that they are facing upward into the note blocks. And place solid blocks on top of the note blocks. Then place levers on top of those blocks. Place some temporary workstations or other blocks on top of those. And then trapdoors on top of those. And also on the bottom side of each one, so that they are right above the lever. Then you want to place blocks on the sides of all of the note blocks, so that when you open the trapdoor, if you accidentally fall in, you can easily escape. The next step is to come over here and place some temporary blocks here, going up 3. And then on each of these blocks, you want to place a trapdoor on the top, and make sure that they are all in the same direction. Now that you've done that, you can go ahead and flip open the top 2 trapdoors, but leave the bottom one closed. Now place solid blocks below the observers. We should now test our hatch mechanism. Go ahead and flip this lever. You should see this trapdoor open as this block comes down. Flip it again, and the trapdoor should close as the block goes back up. Now we're going to place blocks here. This is where our zombie will stand. Then place some more on each side so that we can place our dispensers. The next step is to place dispensers on each of these blocks. Place solid blocks next to them. Then we can remove these temporary blocks from before. Place a note block near the workstation, and then 2 observers coming down so that the bottom observer is in the block next to the dispenser. Then open the dispenser and place in the water bucket. Then we will repeat on the other side, so place a note block on the trapdoor so that it is diagonal from the workstation. Come down and place 2 observers so that the bottom one puts redstone into this block, which will power the dispenser. And then place your water bucket into the dispenser. Now we are going to place our doors. We want to place them in a fashion so that when they are closed, they actually appear open, so that the zombie does not try to break them down. Now on the right side, we want to face towards the back of the machine and sneak and place the door on the right side of the block. So now when we open the door, it is actually closed and restricts access to this area. We want to go on the other side, face towards the back of the machine, and place the door on the left side of the block. And now when we close it, it will also restrict access, even though it is technically open and the zombie will not try to break it down. Now we are going to place blocks in this area. I'm going to use glowstone so that this area is lit up and other mobs don't spawn, but you can use any block that you want. Now we are going to place trapdoors along the ceiling. The orientation does not matter here, but make sure you leave 1 block open so that the zombie can get in and we will replace it at the end. Then come back up to the top and place blocks upon each of these blocks, and then place a block on each note block to prevent them from making sound and prevent the villagers from escaping. At this point, if you are building a twin module, you will want to mirror this area to this area on the other side, so that the center is this dispenser, and you have identical modules on each side. But because I'm only doing one module, I'm going to build a wall back here, and I'm going to leave a window so that we can see what is happening. Next, I'm going to place blocks on each side so that we do not fall down. And I'm also going to place a staircase for easy access to the maintenance door. I'm going to quickly test the water system on each side. So when we hit this note block, it should dispense water. And then when we hit it one more time, the water should disappear. At this point, we are going to lure our zombie into the system. You need to make sure that your zombie does not despawn. You can do this by either giving the zombie a name tag, or the better option, which is to find a naturally spawning zombie that can pick up items, because then you can give this zombie a sword, and the zombie will be able to kill the villagers much more effectively. Then once you find your zombie, you should lure him into the system. For the sake of speed, I am just going to spawn him with a spawn egg, and then I'm going to replace this trapdoor. Next, we are going to build the system for putting the villagers inside. We are going to place a block on top of this trapdoor, place top slabs on here, and then remove this block and place a slab. At this point, you may want to place signs here so that as you get villagers, you can remove the sign and add it back to say what the villager is trading. Next, you want to come up and you want to place blocks here and here and here to make a pathway for the villager to walk down. Then you want to take your fence gates and place them along these blocks and open them up. Then you want to come up 3 blocks and place a slab on top of all of these. You can use whatever blocks you want. I am using glass because then I can see what the villagers are doing. Then you want to do the same on all of these blocks. But make sure you leave this open so that even when the fence gates are closed, the villagers can still walk along this area. Now it is time to get our villagers into the system. You can bring them via water stream or minecart, or you can lure them in with a workstation or bed, or you can place another zombie or a pillager and scare them into running into this system and falling into the modules. I am just going to spawn them to make it faster. Once the villager is in the system, you should close the fence gate so that they cannot escape and no more villagers will fall into their cell. And then you can place a composter or whatever workstation you are using. I'm going to repeat this process for the other villagers. If a villager does not immediately see the composter, you can go ahead and break it and place it again. And you want to make sure that each villager gets the composter directly in front of it. It may take a few tries. As you can see, each villager now has a composter, and our trading hall is complete. I'm going to demonstrate zombification one more time. We open this hatch, we hit the trapdoor, it will drop down. If needed, we can hit this block to dispense water. Our villager has been killed. We can hit the trap again, and he will come up. Then we want to take our splash potion of weakness and our golden apple, and he will begin to cure. As you can see, other villagers do not mind getting splashed with potions of weakness, and even if we kill one of their neighbors, you can see they are just fine with it, because no gossip will spread. While we wait for this villager to get cured, I'm going to edit the trading hall a little bit to make it look prettier, but I will not change any of the mechanics. As you can see, this villager has now been cured, and if we click on him, he will give us large discounts. You can cure your villagers as many times as you want in order to get the best deals. I am now going to show you a few ways to troubleshoot your trading hall, in case something doesn't work as you expect. First of all, zombies might not immediately hit your villagers. For example, if I drop him down, as you can see, he is not getting hurt. And this is happening because there is this trapdoor in the way and the zombie does not see him. Now, in smaller trading halls like this, you can hit this button and it will bring him over. The zombie will see and attack the villager. However, in larger trading halls like this one, that is not always an option. You will have to come down to your maintenance hatch and lure the zombie towards you. And once he sees the villager, he will begin to attack it if you close the door and leave his line of sight. As you can see, that villager has now been killed. We can bring it up and begin to cure it. Also, if we drop this villager, but quickly bring him back up, and then we drop another villager to be killed, the zombie will not attack this villager. As you can see, the zombie is targeting the villager next to it. This happens because even though the trapdoor is closed, he can still see the villager, and so he will not attack the other villager. This can be solved by exiting the world and joining back in. As you can see, he immediately hit the villager. Another problem that can happen is if you spam the lever too quickly, the block and the trapdoor can become desynced. When the trapdoor is closed, the block should be up, but as you can see, it is right now down. But if you spam the lever again, then it will fix it. Another issue you may have is your villager not converting into a zombie villager. As you can see, he was just killed. This happens if your difficulty is not set too hard, so make sure it is set there before you use this farm. There is one more issue that can occur, but it is very rare, so I will try to demonstrate it. If you flip the lever at just the wrong time, the villager can fall through the platform. It can mostly happen when the villager is airborne, like when it is jumping, or if it has just been hit by a zombie. So to make sure this doesn't happen, you want to ensure that you only bring up the villager when it is not moving. You could fix this in a variety of ways, but the easiest by far is to simply lure the villager out of the system and place him back in manually. But again, this issue is very rare, and if you use the system responsibly, you should not have to worry about it. If you have any problems that were not covered in this section, read the pinned comment of the video. I will update it periodically as problems arise. If your problem is not listed in the pinned comment, feel free to leave a comment of your own, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was able to help you in some way. If it did, then make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss more of my content. And I will see you next time.